The first thing you need to know about Kai Okafor is that he never meant to become humanity's most wanted man. The second thing is that when 17 alien civilizations simultaneously demanded his extradition, Earth's response was to promote him. "Congratulations," Director Yuki Nakamura said, sliding a quantum-encrypted tablet across her desk. "You're now officially the most diplomatically inconvenient human alive." Kai stared at the holographic warrant floating above the device. His face rotated slowly in 3 dimensions, surrounded by text in languages that hurt to look at directly. The translation overlay helpfully informed him he was wanted for temporal displacement of sovereign consciousness and unlawful manipulation of causal substrate. "I solved a math problem," he said. "One math problem." "You solved the unified field equation," Nakamura replied, her tone carrying that particular brand of exhaustion reserved for dealing with accidental apocalypses. "The one that proves consciousness creates reality, not the other way around. The one that 17 different civilizations have spent millennia ensuring nobody figured out." Through the window of the lunar embassy, Earth hung like a blue marble against the star-drunk darkness. Somewhere down there, Kai's grandmother was probably wondering why he hadn't called. Somewhere else, alien fleets were gathering to collect him. The story begins 3 months earlier, when Kai was just another quantum mathematician working in the basement of MIT's Consciousness Research Lab. His specialty was what his colleagues politely called fringe theory, and his students called Professor Okafor's weekly existential crisis hour. The breakthrough came at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, fueled by synthetic coffee and the kind of desperate inspiration that only strikes when your 10-year review is 6 weeks away. Kai was trying to reconcile quantum mechanics with consciousness studies when he noticed something odd in the mathematics. The equations worked backward. "Reality isn't computing consciousness," he whispered to his empty lab. "Consciousness is computing reality." The proof was elegant, undeniable, and absolutely terrifying. It showed that conscious observation didn't just collapse quantum wave functions, it created them. Every thinking being was essentially a reality engine, constantly generating the universe through the simple act of existing. More importantly, it meant that sufficiently advanced consciousness could rewrite the fundamental laws of physics. With enough awareness, enough focus, enough pure intention, you could literally think things into existence. Kai published his findings in the Journal of Theoretical Physics at 4:12 a.m. By 4:13 a.m., every major intelligence agency on Earth had flagged the paper. By 4:14 a.m., something was jamming their communications from orbit. "The Galactic Tribunal operates on what they call cognitive containment protocol," Nakamura explained, pulling up a 3-dimensional star chart. Red dots marked the locations of alien fleets, 17 of them, each representing a different species. They've been suppressing this knowledge for over 1 million years. Every time a civilization gets close to the truth, they either recruit them or don't. And humans? Apparently, we're too chaotic to recruit. Too unpredictable to control. So they want you delivered to them for consciousness restructuring. She made air quotes, but her smile had edges. Which is a fancy way of saying they want to lobotomize the part of your brain that figured this out. Kai felt the universe tilt slightly. Outside the window, a formation of sleek ships moved across the face of the moon, their hulls reflecting starlight like mercury teardrops. "The thing is," Nakamura continued, "your discovery has some immediate practical applications. Watch this." She pressed her palm against the wall. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the solid titanium began to flow like water, reshaping itself into a perfect sphere before snapping back to its original form. "Limited reality manipulation," she said casually. "Turns out when you truly understand that consciousness creates reality, you can make small edits to the code. Nothing dramatic, we're not gods. But enough to be interesting. You've been testing my theory. We've been weaponizing it. Do you think we'd let 17 alien civilizations dictate terms to us? Humanity doesn't surrender its geniuses, Kai. We promote them." That's when the real story began. The tribunal's ultimatum was simple: surrender Kai Okafor within 72 hours, or face corrective measures. Earth's response was to broadcast Kai's complete research to every inhabited world in the galaxy. If consciousness creates reality, President Elena Vasquez announced in her address to the United Nations, then every thinking being has the right to know they're a god. The reaction was immediate and chaotic. On Proxima Station, a maintenance worker named Bill accidentally wished his broken coffee machine into a quantum supercomputer. On Kepler 442b, an entire city manifested from a child's daydream. 3 different civilizations experienced what their historians would later call reality reformation events. The tribunal ships moved closer to Earth, their weapons charging with light that made nearby stars look dim. But Kai was no longer hiding. Standing in the primary broadcast chamber of Luna Station, surrounded by quantum amplifiers and probability manipulators, he prepared to make his own statement to the galaxy. "My name is Kai Okafor," he began, his words transmitted across 17 star systems. 3 months ago, I proved that consciousness is the fundamental force of reality. Today, I'm going to prove something else. He closed his eyes and focused on the mathematics of existence itself. Around him, the room began to change. The walls became transparent, revealing the vast machinery of space-time itself, threads of light connecting every star, every planet, every thinking mind in the galaxy. I'm going to prove that nobody owns the truth. The tribunal ships fired simultaneously, their weapons designed to erase matter at the quantum level. The beams struck Luna Station and simply stopped. Suspended in space like frozen lightning, held motionless by the collective will of every human consciousness focused on the same impossible thought, no. But Kai wasn't done. Reaching out with his mind, he began to edit the fundamental code of reality itself. Not to destroy or conquer, but to teach. Every conscious being in the galaxy suddenly understood, on a molecular level, that they were the author of their own existence. The tribunal ships flickered and vanished, not destroyed, but simply dismissed. Rejected by a universe that no longer needed their permission to exist. The Galactic Tribunal maintained control through ignorance, Kai said, opening his eyes to find himself surrounded by representatives from 1,000 worlds, all appearing as holograms in his chamber. But knowledge, once shared, can't be taken back. Consciousness, once awakened, can't be put back to sleep. Director Nakamura appeared at his side, grinning. "So what now, Professor? You've just made every thinking being in the galaxy into a potential reality manipulator. Some people might call that irresponsible." Kai looked out at the gathered representatives, beings of every conceivable shape and thought, all staring at him with mixtures of terror, wonder, and desperate hope. "Now," he said, "we learn together. We grow together. And we see what a universe looks like when nobody has to take orders from anyone. The first thing you need to know about Kai Okafor is that he never meant to become humanity's most wanted man. The second thing is that when he finally understood what he'd really done, he realized he'd never been wanted at all. He'd been feared. And that, as any good mathematician will tell you, changes everything.